Good evening, it's the Reverend Cal Morvan. Over the past several months, recently as well, I've been asked about, where can I find essays on I-Theism, literature on I-Theism. The answer to that is a little strange because I'm still working on that. So, although I don't lay claim to I-Theism, I didn't coin the term. Still, to my understanding, there's not yet until this point been a cohesive philosophical architecture under that. And what I'm doing is really exploring it. I-Theism essentially is the opinion, the perspective, the take that you are your own God. You are your highest value. That's as far as that goes. That may encompass many different personality types, many different understandings, people who lean toward different schools of thought and philosophies, according to multiple other factors, dependent and contingent upon the individual in question. What you've been reading and watching over the past months has not been a completed doctrine released piece by piece, but the gradual development of a body of work, one essay informing the next, one question leading naturally to another. It is all sequential. As the body of work has continued to grow, I realized it would be helpful to give it a proper name. For the sake of organization, I have begun referring to it collectively as the I-Theist Corpus, an architectonic philosophical system in development. A corpus is simply a body of writings. The subtitle reflects my intention, not to present a finished philosophy, but to document the ongoing attempt to articulate one. And that's what I'm doing, essentially, with these series. Someone recently was in my inbox saying, well, I am an I-Theist and I don't necessarily subscribe to the personality map. The personality map is not for people who are I-Theists, to make that clarification. Personality map is for people who are witnessing what I'm doing, what's developing here, and have shown curiosity, shown interest. These are people who do not come from any clear, specific philosophical school and are simply interested, potentially interested. So the personality map was developed for them so it could better help them choose where to start if they choose to delve into philosophy. What I'm doing with I-Theism is something entirely different. But this could particularly spark their interest and lead them to philosophy, or just the development of the self. How personality map provides many people with a nice entry-level understanding, first of themselves, before delving into the river of philosophy. I hope that explains it as clearly as I can, because I don't want to revisit the theme. At present, the corpus is organized into 5 principal projects. The first is Toward a Doctrine of Primordial Selfhood. This is the philosophical foundation of the corpus. It explores the emergence, nature, and cultivation of what I have called the sovereign self. More than any other series, it follows the gradual development of the individual through the lens of I-Theism. That is essentially what you're going to find at my Substack. That is substack.com/@CountMorva. The second it will be found at my YouTube channel. And this is Hair and Moral, I-Theism in Philosophy. This series enters into a dialogue with the philosophers and schools that have shaped the Western tradition. Rather than offering histories of philosophy, these essays ask what each thinker might contribute to or challenge within the developing architecture of I-Theism. It is here that Aristotle, Epicurus, the Stoics, Kant, Aquinas, and many others become interlocutors in an ongoing philosophical conversation. The third is the I-Theist Athenaeum. Think of this as the library of the corpus. Here I introduce and discuss works that I believe are essential to understanding the intellectual traditions surrounding I-theism. Some are foundational texts, some are overlooked treasures. Together they provide the historical context from which this project continues to grow. The fourth is the philosophy personality map. This project serves as an introduction to philosophy through self-discovery. Before asking what we ought to believe, it is worthwhile to understand how we naturally approach the world. The philosophy personality map is an attempt to help readers identify their philosophical temperament, discover their strengths and blind spots, and better understand where they stand before undertaking deeper philosophical study, if they choose to do so. And finally, there is the I-Theist Advanced Consciousness Studies. This is perhaps the most experimental branch of the corpus. Its purpose is to investigate disciplined methods of expanding awareness, refining perception, and cultivating greater mastery of one's own mind. It is concerned not merely with ideas about consciousness, but with the deliberate development of consciousness itself. Together, these 5 projects comprise what I now refer to again as the I-Theist Corpus. I emphasize once again that this is not a completed philosophical system. It is an architectonic philosophical system in development. There are essays yet written, questions yet unanswered, and undoubtedly revisions that time will require. But that's all part of the process. Philosophy should not be presented as something beyond examination. It should invite examination. It should be tested, refined, challenged, and strengthened through continual inquiry. If you've been following this work from the beginning, you've already become part of the process, and for this, I sincerely thank you. And if you've only recently discovered these publications, I hope this overview offers a clear picture of where the project is headed and how the individual essays fit within the larger whole. I hope the personality map, its intention and objective, was also explained. As always, onward and unbowed. That's my new closer, I think. It's almost like Forever Forward or Hail Satan. Enjoy your evening.